the place where I'm at right now is feeling a little bit lost and confused. But when I actually feel into it, it's a retraining of sorts. That's what I get told. And what comes out of that is the realization that in this reality creation, we've always known what's coming. We've always known, well, I guess we had the illusion of knowing what's coming. You know, you get taught in school that you pick a career and you stay with it, and that's what you are, that's who you are, and then that's what you do. And even when we're, you know, I guess told to pick something to do, you kind of view your life in getting to that stage, and then you're this thing. What's occurring now is like the breaking down of all of that, and I can see what I'm doing in the reason why the confusion is growing and constant, because every time I get like a little bit of, say, inspiration, joy, knowing, resonance within myself, I try to cling to it, and I create a story around that's what I'm going to be, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's where all this is headed, and finally I know, and then it all falls apart again. And to be honest, in the past, it's driven me crazy, because then I just think, why don't I know what's wrong with me? Why does everybody know what they're doing and I don't? But honestly, I believe, although this part is painful, and I don't even know if and when it'll end, it's also the only way where you can truly open yourself up to experiencing a reality unlike the one that you've had. And it's not even that you didn't like the one that you had, it's just that it's almost out of vibrational resonance to where you're going or where you're being led. And when I say where you're going and where you're being led, it's not a place. It's like a series of events. I don't even know, but this is what sense my mind wants to make of it, because there is no sense. I'm really being told, like, I'm getting told these stories from spirit, and I'm thinking I'm supposed to relay these stories, right? And maybe, you know, I love writing, but I just don't know. Honestly, I don't know about that. There's a group of people. The memoir group is amazing, but then the writers group that I go to is just so not aligned. It's just like it's its own system, where people are changing themselves to fit a program that says how it should be done. And that's where it really irks me, because like the freedom of expression that I feel, I just don't feel like it should be controlled in the way of basically changing it to be something that somebody says how it should be. And it's like, you know, metaphorical, as in the meaning of that writing is like life. And, you know, are we doing it on our own terms? And are we doing it the way it's coming forth from within us? Or are we doing it how somebody says that we have to, or says that we should, or, you know, following the rules of how our expression, so how we live our life? And then, you know, I don't know, there's something about it. It's just like I'm being broken down of all the systems. And, you know, we all sort of know about the systems within society, but I feel like it's just going more and more and more. It's like every single system that's within everything. And it's, if you see, so I'm getting shown now, the systems are like thought patterns, and everything is like a connected web. And as long as you keep firing it, like what Dr. Joe says, firing and wiring the same connection, that's what you're giving your energy to. And you know, when you're cutting and not giving energy to these sort of systems, you can feel so lost, because you're actually forcing yourself into a space where your mind has to create new pathways. Like, reality has to be created differently, because you're not programming it and telling it what's coming next. And that's why it feels so uncomfortable, because when we are programmed, and when we are like, oh, tomorrow I'm doing this and then I'm doing this, where is the space in that for these opportunities to arise? It's almost like you have to clear your schedule, clear your life, and allow what these manifestations are that are coming. And it doesn't mean don't move, don't do anything. It means be aware of what's occurring and what's happening and what pulls you in what direction. And yeah, that's really what I'm feeling at the moment. This, the only sense that I can make is that there is no sense. And it's actually makes me feel better. Like, even just making this video, it's like I can hear my own clarity in the confusion. And, you know, I really feel like I'm being trained to be okay with not knowing. And there's so many layers, because, you know, be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, that's normally how I live my life. Well, I guess there's just degrees, and it's just getting more and more extreme. But then I see myself going back into, like, trying to cling to little things. Like, when I think about employment and I go to the things that I've done already, or that I feel like I would have an opportunity with, instead of going to the things where I would really enjoy and where I would aspire to be. And I'm really noticing that. That's big. Yeah, it's like this breaking down of everything. In the same time as things are crumbling, new information is presenting. And so it's almost like, I listened to this Instagram reel a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, do you want new clothes? Throw out 2/3 of your wardrobe. And he's like, oh, you might think, how are you going to get new clothes? But trust me, you need to make room for what's coming before it will come to you. So that's honestly what I feel like is happening at the moment. Because I'm getting these opportunities, but they're not aligned. And I'm just getting reminded, like, yeah, you could go back to this. Yeah, you can go and do this, sure. But you're not going to like it. And how long are you going to keep ignoring how you feel? Because this whole process is mending, healing. Oh, it's like this massive, it's like a holding bay of allowing yourself to forgive yourself for every time you didn't listen to yourself. And you've been talking this whole time saying, please, I don't want to do that, or that person's not nice to me, or I don't feel safe here, or I don't want to go there, I don't want to see them. And how many times have we all ignored it? And it's so funny, we ignored it to the point where we could barely hear it. And then when we did hear it, it's like you mask it, you distract yourself away from it. You're like, I don't want to hear the true voice from within me because it's painful for the realization of what we're doing to ourselves constantly. It's like, you know, when we say we don't know, we're unaware because we're so disconnected from ourselves that we can't hear it. And I guess that's why everyone talks about meditation so much, because it's stopping the world and starting to hear what you truly need, what you truly desire. And that's not a thing. It's a constant manifestation of phenomena. It's just constant. It's not like, oh, you know, I like writing, I'm going to be a writer. Ding, done. It's not. It's like a stepping stone. Everything is a stepping stone to lead you to somewhere else. And it doesn't mean that writing won't be included. I'm using that as an example. But it just means I feel like it's getting trained to be in that listening moment and then proving to yourself that you are going to choose you. You are going to choose you when it doesn't feel right. When you get told not to. When you get warned physically, emotionally, through your guidance, don't go there. You don't want to go there. You don't want to be here. You don't want to do that. And it's just this big retraining of all of that. So I'd love to know if anyone's going through similar, because it just feels like this highly sensitive, empathic, the reflector thing mixed with all of the other things is just like coming to this shaking of foundations. And yeah, I'd love to know that I'm not the only one.